Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing my September wrap-up. I know it's going a little bit later than it normally would. That's just because I'm pre-filming everything, and I just wanted to get more of my spooky season videos up earlier in the month than this wrap-up. Also, this wrap-up is kind of sad. I only made it through 3 books this month, and one is basically a novella. And the reason that is I'm getting married. By the time this video is up, I've actually already gotten married, but I'm pre-filming everything right before my big wedding reception. And planning that just took way more time out of my life than I thought it was going to. I really thought I could handle a job as well as wedding planning, coming down to the wire and reading all of these books, and I just did not have the time to do it. But I did make it through 3. It was an okay reading month, I would say. I didn't have a single 5-star read, which was a bummer, but I also didn't have any like pretty low scoring reads either, so that's always fun. 2 of these books also already have reviews up on my channel, so if you want to hear more in-depth reviews on them, definitely go check those out. Okay, so first up we have Holy Ghost Road by John Mantooth. So this book I was super excited about. This was a Cemetery Dance publication. This is a limited edition version of this book done by Twisted Retreat. This book is beautiful. I mean, this inside cover is just stunning. I really, really love what Twisted Retreat did on the design for this one. And I had so much fun with this book for the first half. I thought it had one of the strongest openings I've read. It really just starts off running. It was a really heavily atmospheric book. The setting was definitely a major character in this novel. And I really, really enjoyed the first half. And then I felt like it kind of lost its way for the second half and kind of just started repeating what worked in the first half, but the more and more redundant it became, the less invested I was. So I'm going to read the inside flap for y'all. Some roads are haunted by the past, some by ghosts, some are even haunted by demons. The one Forrest must travel is haunted by all 3. When she discovers Pastor Nesmith's praying to a demonic entity in her family's barn, Forrest knows she must run. Enraged at the possibility of having his true allegiance exposed, Nesmith pursues Forrest. She flees on foot, hoping to reach the one person who will believe her, grandmother. Unfortunately, Granny is 40 miles away, and Forrest has no car, no phone, and no friends. To reach her, Forrest will have to learn to see the world true, even as the demonic and the sacred wage war for her soul. So like I said, this is a very strong opening that then kind of just really falls flat. And a lot of my issue with this book came from significantly poor decision making from some of our main characters over and over and over again. And I felt that there was virtually no character growth, even though the author definitely wanted there to be. But from the start of the novel to the end of the novel, I felt like our main character didn't grow as an individual, but almost to an extent backtracks by the last couple pages, which I was really disappointed in. She makes a lot of very bad decisions, a lot of decisions that put her in danger. She kind of teams up with someone who also makes a lot of very questionable and bad decisions. And I feel like in this story it's an attempt at family horror, but it never really plays up the dynamics of the family to really play upon that. And then at the same time, at the end of this novel, I had so many unanswered questions about plot points that just didn't go anywhere. And it felt very, very anticlimactic. Like, we kind of got to the pivotal moment that everything has been leading up to, and things just happened that didn't have enough explanation behind them for me to really enjoy and understand what was happening and why. What I do like about this is a lot of this takes place in like a dreamscape, I don't want to say alternate reality, but like a dream world parallel to reality. And I have another book on here that also speaks about like dreamscapes. And that was very, very cool and very, very interesting, but I felt like it wasn't explored enough, that this author just kind of really played upon the chase aspect of the novel and less upon the kind of occult and supernatural, you know, in an interesting way. And he kind of just kept playing the same plot point over and over and over. And by like the third time that he kept rerunning the same kind of scenario, I just got really bored with this book. So I really, really loved the beginning, and then it just really started to fall off for me. But the beginning was extremely strong. So this was a 3-star read for me. I had really high hopes. I really thought it was going to be a 5-star when I first started reading it, but it definitely was not. Okay, next up. This is not a horror novel. This is a sci-fi novel, and this is called All Systems Red, The Murderbot Diaries by Martha Wells. I'm in a book club, and one of my really good friends recommended that we read this book, and I had so much fun with it. Let me read the back of it. So it says, in a corporate-dominated spacefaring future, planetary missions must be approved and supplied by the company. Exploratory teams are accompanied by company-supplied security androids for their own safety. But in a society where contracts are awarded to the lowest bidder, safety isn't a primary concern. On a distant planet, a team of scientists are conducting surface tests, shadowed by their company-supplied droid, a self-aware sec unit that has hacked its own governor module and refers to itself, though never out loud, as Murderbot. Scornful of humans, all it really wants is to be left alone long enough to figure out who it is. And when a neighboring mission goes dark, it's up to the scientists and their Murderbot to get to the truth. So this is a very fun, kind of cheeky, well-written sci-fi novel. If you're into like world building and stuff, it's very short. It's only like 150 pages. It does a significant amount of world building, but I'm usually not the biggest sci-fi person. I'm usually not a sci-fi girl. I tried to read the Expanse series. I didn't get that far, but I did enjoy what I was reading. But I really liked this. Some of the world building for me was a little hard to follow, but for the most part, I really, really enjoyed what this was. And this is very, very, very funny. And it's meant to be funny, and it's meant to be slightly satirical, but the funny is more meta, and like how you as the reader can relate to Murderbot as an entity than outright funny plot. It's a very serious, very scary, very heavy sci-fi plot, but at the same time it's also really, really funny. Like, I really enjoyed the character of Murderbot, and I've been saying this a lot recently, but the character of Murderbot kind of goes into that like into that T. Kingfisher realm of like writing very colloquially as like the everyman. We do have this first person narration that I just really, really enjoyed. It was so out of left field. It was so funny. It was so just the person who is just so over their job but has to do it anyway, and just complains about it the whole time in their diary. That's kind of the vibe that you got from this, while at the same time paralleling this really cool story about a mission gone wrong on an undiscovered planet with a team of scientists trying to figure out what the flora and fauna are, and if it's going to be more of like a habitable planet that they can come to. I really loved the technology in this. I really loved the idea of the company. I loved the idea of how the governments work. I thought it was really, really interesting. I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. I know that the women in my book club absolutely loved it. I did not, because to me it felt like it kind of undid a part of the character that I loved. They completely disagreed with me. They thought that it really nailed exactly who that character was. So I guess we read Murderbot as slightly different characters, but so funny. This was a 4-star read for me. I'll definitely read more from Martha Wells because it was so cheeky and so interesting and so short, and I read it in like a day, and it was just so much fun. Alright, so next up, we have another 4-star read. So 2 4-star reads this month. I do have a whole video review on this, but this is The Nightmare Man by J.H. Marker. As I said in my review, this was an absolute complete cover buy. I just thought the cover was so freaking cool, and it looked and screamed spooky season, so I bought it. I've never heard of this author before, but I really enjoyed his writing style, and will definitely be reading more from him. So let me read the inside flap for you. Blackwood Mansion looms, surrounded by nightmare pines, atop the hill over the small town of New Haven. Ben Bookman, best-selling novelist and heir to the Blackwood estate, spent a weekend at the ancestral home to finish writing his latest horror novel, The Scarecrow. Now, on the eve of the book's release, the terrible story within begins to unfold in real life. Detective Mills arrives at the scene of a gruesome murder, a family butchered and bundled inside cocoons stitched from corn husks and hung from the rafters of a barn, eerily mirroring the opening of Bookman's latest novel. When another family is killed in a similar manner, Mills, along with his daughter, rookie detective Samantha Blue, is determined to find the link to the book and the killer before the story reaches its chilling climax. As the series of Scarecrow crimes continues to mirror the book, Ben quickly becomes the prime suspect. He can't remember much from the night he finished writing the novel, but he knows he wrote it in the atrium, his grandfather's forbidden room full of numbered books, thousands of books, books without words. As Ben digs deep into Blackwood's history, he learns he may have triggered a release of something trapped long ago, and it won't stop with the horrors buried within the pages of his book. So I'm not going to speak too much on this because I've now spoken about it in two recent videos prior. But this book does start off kind of as a mystery crime thriller, very akin to the Hannibal Lecter TV series starring Mads Mikkelsen. Love that series. And then takes a very sharp turn to being this more kind of supernatural haunted house, not even haunted house, but like scary mansion with mysterious things going on inside of it. Kind of moment, and I enjoyed both halves, but I thought the first half was far superior, and I really wanted it to be more of a crime thriller and kind of follow through with this like Scarecrow murders. And while it does and you get all the answers, it definitely takes that turn, and I was definitely more on board with the first half of the book than the second. So that is like my one like big caveat with this novel, and I did like it. I loved the writing style. It was a lot of ideas in one that all came together, and it really somehow worked. And I didn't expect it to be supernatural. And whenever I go into something expecting it to be a crime thriller and it ends up being supernatural, I'm always kind of thrown off by it. But this was really, really fun, really, really unique. I really liked the concepts of the dreamscape and the use of nightmares to inspire murders and serial killers. I thought that was very, very interesting and a really fun spin on things. And just the atmosphere and the setting of this book was so well done. The kind of small rural town in the beginning, and then we do get to this kind of ancestral family home, and it just sounds so beautiful, and I could really see it, even though what they're describing is kind of supernatural and over the top. I had a really, really good visual of it, and it was a really cool concept for a house. So I really enjoyed this. I will definitely read more from J.H. Markert, and I know that he has a book coming out soon. I believe it's called Mr. Lullaby. I looked this up recently. So it's going to be another kind of like dreamscape kind of thing, I feel, but not related to The Nightmare Man, so not like a sequel, it doesn't seem. Anyways, that is my very brief wrap up for this month. I'm sorry I only made it through 3, but hopefully, well, next month won't be better because I'm going to be gone for most of it, but hopefully November and December I'll like really finally get back to like my 6 books a month. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I try to post every Monday and Thursday, sometimes on Saturdays, and if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and I will catch you on the next one. Mwah.